In a session watched by millions across the nation, a recent State of the Union address provided a dramatic focal point for controversy. Central to the discourse was a claim by former President Donald Trump regarding the integrity of the Social Security system, a claim that has since ignited heated debate among policymakers, experts, and the public alike. At the heart of the matter lies the assertion that millions and millions of Social Security checks are dispersed to individuals purportedly aged between 140 and 360 years. This investigation examines the veracity of that statement and the broader implications it holds for the nation's social safety net. During the address, Trump's rhetoric painted a picture of a system riddled with errors. According to his statement, the scale of alleged discrepancies was so vast that it undermined public confidence in Social Security, a critical program relied upon by millions. However, official data indicate that the error rate in disbursing benefits is less than 1%. This stark contrast raises the question, was the president deliberately propagating a false narrative, or was he merely misinformed about the underlying data? At the core of the controversy is the misrepresentation of Social Security records. While Trump's statement suggested that a significant number of checks were erroneously issued to non-existent centenarians, or, more extremely, to individuals with ages far exceeding the natural limits, the reality is far more nuanced. In fact, the vast majority of recipients in the Social Security system are legitimate claimants who have met the program's stringent eligibility requirements. The discrepancy largely stems from a technical shortfall within the agency's database management systems. A key factor in this technical shortfall is the reliance on legacy software developed in the COBOL programming language. Unlike modern systems, this language does not possess a robust date type. Consequently, when certain records lack complete or accurate birth date information, they default to a reference date that inadvertently places the individual's age far into the past, by as much as 150 years. This programming quirk has led to an overstatement in the number of records that appear anomalous. Importantly, these records do not indicate that millions of individuals are receiving benefits beyond the bounds of human longevity. Instead, they highlight an outdated system that has not been fully updated to reflect death information accurately. Supporting this clarification are several reports issued by the Social Security Administration's Office of Inspector General. Notably, these reports, released in March 2023 and again in July 2024, reveal that the agency has not yet modernized its system to annotate death information for roughly 18.9 million Social Security numbers of individuals born in 1920 or earlier. However, the practical impact of this oversight is minimal. As of September 2015, the agency's policy automatically ceases benefit payments to anyone whose recorded age exceeds 115 years. Thus, the existence of outdated records does not equate to active disbursement of benefits to non-existent or impossibly aged individuals. The implications of this issue extend beyond mere technicalities. Critics argue that the persistent use of misleading data by high-ranking officials is part of a calculated effort to erode confidence in Social Security. Former President Trump, who has repeatedly questioned the program's integrity, appears to have exploited these technical anomalies to bolster his long-term objective: the privatization of Social Security. By casting doubt on the system's reliability, his administration aims to gradually chip away at the program's robust public support, thereby paving the way for radical restructuring. The political maneuvering does not stop with erroneous statistics. Evidence suggests that deliberate policy actions have been taken to exacerbate public discontent with the Social Security system. For instance, significant workforce reductions within the agency have been implemented, with the firing of approximately 7,000 employees in recent months. Such measures, according to internal commentary, seem designed to reduce the system's efficiency deliberately. When an institution that plays a crucial role in millions of lives begins to operate below its historical standards, it creates fertile ground for political rhetoric that calls for drastic changes that in this case could lead to the privatization of Social Security. In discussions with key officials, including Trump's nominee for the position of Social Security Administration head, Frank Basignano, the internal challenges became evident. When pressed about the logic behind laying off a significant portion of the workforce during a period when the system was already under strain, Basignano's responses reflected an apparent disconnect from common operational sense. Although he conceded that improvements were needed, his comments also underscored a broader acceptance of reduced service levels, a situation that directly benefits those advocating for privatization. Critics, including notable political figures, have not shied away from questioning these strategies. One prominent voice in the debate has been Senator Bernie Sanders, who has consistently challenged the administration's approach. Sanders and others have pointed out that, in a time when millions rely on Social Security for their daily sustenance, a 1% error rate is acceptable, compared to the potentially catastrophic consequences of a mismanaged overhaul. The stark contrast between the tangible reliability of Social Security and the administration's narrative of rampant fraud suggests a deliberate manipulation of public sentiment. The goal, it appears, is to manufacture a crisis where none exist, a crisis that can then be exploited to justify sweeping reforms. The broader context of this manipulation is as significant as the numbers themselves. The political climate today is one where misinformation can easily be weaponized. By continually sowing doubts about the competence of government institutions, certain political factions are working to undermine the public's trust in long-established systems. For Trump and his allies, this strategy is not merely about correcting perceived inefficiencies, it is about redefining the very nature of social welfare in America. The objective is to dismantle the safety nets that have long been a cornerstone of American society and replace them with privatized alternatives that cater to a wealthier minority. Underlying this approach is an economic and ideological divide. Donald Trump, a billionaire surrounded by other affluent individuals, has often expressed a disregard for programs that support those who struggle to make ends meet. In his view, Social Security is an outdated relic that burdens the government, and by extension, the taxpayer. The privatization of Social Security would, in theory, align more closely with the interests of the wealthy, those who do not depend on monthly benefit checks. By gradually eroding the public's confidence in the system, Trump's administration is laying the groundwork for a future where Social Security is either dramatically reformed or altogether dismantled. This investigative report reveals a multi-layered strategy at play. On one level, there is a clear effort to use technical anomalies in data management as a pretext for political and economic reform. Economic reform. On another level, the narrative serves as a means of distracting the public from broader issues of governmental accountability and efficiency. The deliberate oversimplification and misrepresentation of Social Security's performance are tactics designed to create a false impression of systemic failure. As citizens, it is imperative to remain informed and critically evaluate the information presented by those in power. While the data on Social Security clearly indicate that the system is functioning within acceptable parameters with an error rate of less than 1%. The rhetoric used to describe these figures has the potential to mislead. In an era marked by polarized opinions and rapid political change, the responsibility falls on the public to seek out verified information and hold officials accountable for their statements and policies. In conclusion, this investigation underscores the importance of distinguishing between genuine systemic issues and politically motivated misrepresentations. The Social Security Administration continues to operate efficiently despite technical imperfections rooted in outdated software systems. The claims made during the State of the Union address, suggesting that millions of payments are being issued erroneously, do not align with the factual record. Instead, they appear to be part of a broader political agenda aimed at undermining a vital public institution. As the debate over the future of Social Security unfolds, it is essential for every American to engage critically with the facts and remain vigilant in the face of attempts to reshape long-standing social programs for partisan gain. The integrity of Social Security is not merely a statistic to be manipulated. It is the lifeline for millions of Americans. As this investigative report has detailed, the discrepancies in the records are technical in nature and do not justify the sweeping generalizations made by those seeking radical change. It is incumbent upon all citizens to hold elected officials accountable by demanding transparency, rigorous oversight, and a commitment to preserving the social safety nets that have long supported the most vulnerable among us. Where